All right, welcome to SBR Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are kicking off our coverage of the divisional round in the NFL playoffs right now with Al McMordie from BigAl.com, who's had a great record at his site over the past 2 years in the NFL. Al, thanks for being back with us.
Always good to be here, Peter.
All right, you chose San Diego and Denver. Interesting game. We'll see what you have to say about it. Before we get into it, tell us a little bit about how the playoffs have been going for you, and also brag about your record at your site in the NFL over the last 2 years.
Oh, that's easy enough. I never mind bragging about the record. For the weekend, we were 5-1 on our NFL selections. We swept the board Sunday, going 3-0 with a push on Green Bay. We had the under in the Green Bay game, the under in the Cincinnati game. We also had San Diego plus the points. So it was a really good weekend for us. We also won our wild card round total of the year on the over in the Kansas City-Indianapolis game. That was the third highest scoring playoff game of all time, so it was a perfect call. And now for the season on all our NFL selections, 78 and 53. So it's been a great year in the NFL. The previous season, we hit 77% of our top NFL plays documented #1 in the NFL that year by the Sports Monitor. We weren't #1 this year, but we still had a solid NFL year.
Well, we will see what you can tell us about San Diego, Denver. And yeah, absolutely, line movement is everything. And as we're sitting here right now, that could be important because Denver is both -9.5 and -10 at home. Those are both widely available numbers. The total is 54.5. or 55. And, looking at this game, I mean, even though Denver is, at home and off the bye, San Diego already went into Denver and beat them once this year, of course. And, Denver went into San Diego and beat them, but by less than 10. So even though Denver's at home and off the bye, I'm just not sure how you can possibly justify taking Denver here minus all those points. Maybe that is a side you like. What do you like here, Al?
I'm going to try to justify it,
wow,
Peter.
Okay.
I mean, you're right in one respect. I mean, both times these two teams have met, San Diego's controlled time of possession. San Diego has been the only team, and they did it twice, to hold Denver to under 400 yards of offense. And that last game on that Thursday night, they really controlled, Denver and basically punched Denver in the mouth in that ball game. I actually had a big play in that game on the under. That was my Thursday night total of the year. I love that to be a low-scoring game, which it was, we should say, relatively low-scoring. It went under the total by about 8 points. But I think that victory comes with an asterisk. Denver was without its brilliant slot receiver, Wes Welker, in that ballgame. He was suffering from concussion-related symptoms. He missed that game. He missed the last couple games of the season as well. And that, I think, as much as any reason, is why Denver was only able to muster 20 points in that ballgame. I mean, going into that ballgame, they were averaging 42.28 points a game at home, and then they only came up with 20. And I think it's because Welker wasn't available. I'm not saying they would have gotten 42. I just think it would have been a little bit different of a ball game.
Right. So
that's one reason I do favor Denver in this game, Peter. Welker will be back on the sideline for the Broncos. And the other reason is just simple revenge. And when you get a team that's favored by more than a touchdown in the playoffs playing with revenge from a loss in the same season or even the previous season, those teams are 21-5 against the spread, including 5-0 in division games, and then 16-1 against the spread if their opponent has a win percentage of .650 or less. For all those reasons, I like Denver minus the points, and I'm more than happy that the line has now come down to 9.5.
Well, that is, a typical classic vintage inside the lines analysis by Al McMordie. I think the thing that people are just worried about here is, we've seen this many times in the past, in recent years in the NFL, where like a wild card team has, gained momentum, just put it all together at the exact right time, and they've kind of just been the kind of team that's been covering spreads, even if, they're on the road, even if they're, playing a team that's off of a break here. And, 9.5 or 10 points just feels like a lot for a team that might be the team of destiny. You don't think San Diego's a team of destiny this year?
I'm not one to believe in destiny, although maybe the Packers a few years ago were a team of destiny. But, one of the other things I think is in Denver's favor here, they lost last year, in overtime to the Baltimore Ravens, a similar situation. Well, not that similar, but Denver had won 11 games in a row going into that Baltimore game, and they were maybe a tad overconfident, and they were probably looking ahead to the conference finals, but they got upset in the first round for them, of the playoffs. But when you get a team that gets upset in the first round of the playoffs as a favorite, and then they're favored the next year, those teams usually have refocused themselves, and they cover the spread about 60% of the time. So that's even a third reason, besides the revenge, besides Wes Welker. I do like the fact that Denver stumbled in the first round of its playoffs last year, and now they get a chance to redeem themselves this year.
All right. Al McMordie from BigAl.com liking Denver -9.5. Thanks, Al.